It seems every day more people are getting into content creation, which, as someone who loves content creation, well, I think that's a great thing. The more people that do it, the better. But I think a lot of people are realizing that there's a little bit more to it than meets the eye. Obviously, if you're filming videos, then you want a camera that looks decent, and these days, even your phone is good enough. But something that a lot of people overlook is having good or even great audio. If you're watching a video that doesn't look great but has great audio, oftentimes that's okay. But if you're watching a video that looks amazing but sounds like this, well, you're gonna be having a bad time. So having a good audio solution, I think, is key. And well, that is where the M650 from Anchorwork come in, who is also this video sponsor. Anchorwork is a division of Anchor, who I've talked about a ton on the channel here, and this is their more professional side of the business that creates products like this that help you get work done. Now, the M650 is a wireless microphone system that lets you record high quality audio wirelessly. Big surprise there. Now, let's be honest up front, we look at this and there have been a few different products on the market that look very similar to this. But I don't think Anchorwork is trying to shy away from this. They're very aware that this is a similar product to other things on the market, but they're really trying to give you the best quality possible, but at a more affordable price. And I think in most ways they have hit it out of the park. But since this is a microphone video, I figured it'd be smart to record with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and clip it on and we can get going. In the box, you get everything you need to get started and up and running. So you have the microphone system itself, I'll talk about that more in a second, and you get a bunch of accessories that kind of pair with it to make your experience even better. You get this travel pouch that you can throw everything in, you get a USB-C cable to charge everything, you get a 3.5mm cable to connect the system to your camera or any other device, you get two windscreens to help cut down on any noise interference from wind, and you get these two different covers, which I'll also talk about in a second. But coming back to the microphone system itself, this is all enclosed in this one little package. This is where the battery is, this is where you will charge it, and this is how you will pair them. So in this package, you get three main things. You have two transmitters, which are your microphones, and you have one receiver, which is what receives the signal wirelessly. Now, these are clearly a unique design, and they don't look like a microphone at first glance, but I think that's kind of the point. Anchorwork seems to want this to kind of fit into your lifestyle wherever you want to record, and making the microphones themselves look a little nicer, makes it easier for them to be worn, and that's kind of the whole point here. But to make that even better is another pretty unique feature, and that's the face plates on the front can actually be changed to be different colors. So it comes in this kind of, matte gray finish, but you get two different options in the box depending on what color version you get. So here I have this green and a gold, and all you have to do is twist it off and you can replace it very easily. And this is nice, especially since you have two different transmitters, you can easily differentiate which one is which, or if your subject is wearing something that has a particular color, maybe this will just blend in a little better. This is the green version, and I am wearing green, although it's a little different, doesn't really quite work here, but you get the point. And that takes this from being a strictly like professional videographer's tool that you want to have hidden as best possible, and makes it something that's easy to use to just clip on anywhere. It looks good enough that if it's on camera, it's not a big deal, and it works in seamlessly. Now, to actually use this, it's very simple. Since it's wireless, it's using wireless signals to talk to itself. So when you open the case, it automatically pairs with itself so that you can use the transmitter and receiver. Now, the receiver is this little block here, and it has a touchscreen built in so you can control all the settings of the microphone itself. Now, the most, I think, traditional way to use this would be to plug it into your camera with that 3.5mm jack, and that totally works. But at least for me, the way I use this, or I think a lot of people will use this, is with your phone or other mobile device. And luckily, there is a Lightning or a USB-C attachment that comes in the case. It just attaches to the bottom of the receiver, and then you can plug it directly into your phone. So if you're gonna be recording for social media and you're on the go, this is definitely the easiest and I think my favorite way to start recording. But if you didn't want to use anything else, you can actually record directly with the microphone. So you can actually record for up to 7 hours, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. I am recording with nothing plugged in, and it works pretty well. But like I said, this has a touchscreen built in, and you can see what each microphone is doing. You can see the sound levels, you can adjust them. And what's nice is that this supports dual channel recording. So if you wanted to record with both microphones at the same time, you can easily do that. So all those features are great, but I think, equally importantly is how long you're going to be able to record, especially if you have a big important project. Well, the battery built in is pretty solid. So each of the transmitters can run for up to 6 hours, but the case has a battery built in as well. So if you recharge them, you can get up to 15 hours without ever plugging it in directly. So I mean, realistically, if you're recording with one person, you have one transmitter that lasts 6 hours. You have the second one, which is 6 hours, plus a few additional hours if you recharge them in the case. So really, unless you have like a super long project, you're never gonna have to worry about battery life. Now, at the end of the day, these are microphones. So what really matters is how they sound. And you've been listening to what they sound like for most of this video, so you can let me know what you think. But this is a pretty, isolated, perfect environment. It's pretty quiet in here, but this thing has some features built in that are suited for the less than ideal situations. So let's head out and give those a try. Well, it's about 6 o'clock, rush hour. You can see all the cars going behind me, and with that comes a lot of noise. And when you're trying to get good audio, well, that's not what you want. But luckily, this has some features that should hopefully make that not be at least that big of an issue. So Anchorwork has what they call Voice Shield, which is their noise reduction technology. There's two different settings for it. There's a low and a high. And if you turn it on low, you should now hear that there is in fact some noise reduction going on. You can probably still hear the cars, just not nearly as bad. And this is kind of a good compromise between having, really good, clean, crisp audio for your voice, but also not hearing the background. But if you go into high, now you should be able to not hear much at all except for my voice. And that's kind of the whole point. With this mode, you definitely get a little bit more artifacts. So it's not the cleanest audio, but if you're in a really noisy situation, I mean, this is what you want. And, you can hear what it sounds like now, but if we go back to the just no noise cancellation mode, I mean, instantly you hear all the noise that is around us, and it makes a pretty big difference. Now, I kind of mentioned this up front, but clearly these are taking some design from other microphone products like the DJI mic. And I think for a lot of people looking at these, they're going to be directly comparing it to that, since it's the most, I think, one-to-one comparison. And I've been using both. And I think in most ways, you're getting a similar package. Both come with two transmitters and a receiver. They both have an integrated case with a battery built in for charging. They both have a clip and a magnet built in, so you can mount it in various different ways. But I think the main reason to go for the M650 over something like the DJI mic is simply the price. You are getting very similar features, very similar performance, but this comes in at $249, where the DJI mic comes in at $329. So you're saving a good amount of money, but getting very similar features. And in a lot of ways, you're actually getting more with the M650, like the touchscreen on the receiver is much easier to use since it's bigger. You have the customizable plates that you can change on the microphones, and you get that noise reduction that's built in. Yes, the overall package of the M650 is a little bigger than the DJI mic, but really it doesn't get in the way of anything. So I think for most people, saving the money and getting something like the M650 makes a lot of sense. But yeah, as more and more people start to create content on a regular basis, I think a lot of them are realizing that audio is important, and having a solution like this just gives you a ton of flexibility. So if you want to learn more, I'll leave links down below in the description so you can pick it up for yourself or just learn more about the M650s. And if you're in the market to up your audio game, well, these are worth a shot.